Nikki, and I'm here to share messages that I get from Spirit for all of us who are all on this journey to love and to reunite with our divine vibrational matches in this lifetime. And today I'm going to share a message from the Good Tarot again, because this is the deck that I've just been loving recently, because the artwork is amazing. And also somebody made a comment against a video to say, please can you tell me the exact month that we will come into reunion with our twins? And the answer to that is no. And I don't believe that anyone can tell you the time. And if they do say to you, I know the timing, then I would be cautious around that, because for a start in readings, there is no time. You know, time is a man-made construction. And so in Spirit, there's no such sense of time, because these energies, because it's energy, because these connections are all about energy and frequency, and kind of like the foundations. We are each a brick of, if you imagine like a golden wall being created around the world. And so each of our divine twin connections are another brick in the wall, which is a golden brick in the golden wall, because we've got to take down the walls around, you know, of oppression, of fear, of, you know, everything that is opposed to love. And in its place, once we break down the walls, and every single twin connection is breaking down their own walls. And so that's why there is no such, you know, the time is right when the time is right. When you have, you know, broken the walls down within your connection, and when the divine plan says, okay, it's now time for you to lay your brick in the wall. So, and I know how frustrating that can be. Because, you know, that's the one question that we all want to know is, when will we come into union with our twins? That is, you know, and it's perfectly natural to want to know that, because, you know, that's, you know, what we're here for. But honestly, the most important thing is to follow your own path, and just know that everything that you do to self-heal and to kind of investigate your soul path together, that's where I found huge solace in this whole journey, was basically going down a route of like following where my intuition took me, which took me on journeys of the soul, basically into past lives with my twin, and you know, into a journey of sort of healing and different healing modalities. And in each of those, I experienced different lifetimes with my twin. And that really was the thing that gave me solace, because I knew that I wasn't making it up. I wasn't believing, you know, hoping in this romantic notion that I was going to, you know, go back with my, that, you know, that it was I wasn't believing in an impossible romantic dream. It made me realize around all the connections and the lifetimes and the lessons from each of those lifetimes that brought me to this lifetime here. And that's why I do the healing, right? That's why I do this for you guys, because I've experienced that for myself. And to be honest, that was the one thing that really helped me, because it allowed me to see that this is just a continuation of lifetimes and lifetimes that we've, you know, come together in this physical life. But not only, I've experienced life in other dimensions as well. So it makes you, again, it makes you much more aware that this is we're looking through a kaleidoscope, right? And we are seeing one about to open that view, open that visualization into like the complete expanse of the infinite being that you and your twin and the universe is, and all of the possibilities that that brings. So that was the answer to the question. I'm sorry, I can't say yes and you'll be with your twin in July, because, you know, I can't say that, and it wouldn't be fair for me to say that, because really it is a journey of your own soul growth. And the more that you sort of go down that path, the more you trust and have faith in the bigger picture, because you realize that, again, we are part of this ascension of the planet. And it becomes much more about the ascension of the planet and raising energy and bringing in light and anchoring love than it does about the physical connection. And there is a white feather right there, just blowing down in the wind. So with that, I am going to share oh, look, the Hermit and the Six of Fire. So the Hermit. And so, you know, and the Six of Fire, look there, the hot air balloon, rising up in this love. And the Hermit, you know, many of us will find that we're being put into that Hermit mode for a long time, you know, because we've got to go within. And that's all part of this awakening, because you can't, you know, if you are full on, you know, like for me, my whole life changed, you know, and I was put into a space of where, you know, I didn't, basically just like frozen, and my life completely changed so that I had no option but to go within. And looking back again, if I hadn't had that and I had carried on my lifestyle, I would never have had those moments of deep reflection and going within and going down the healing routes and all of those things. And so the Hermit happens for a reason. So time out, just like I said, time out. So sometimes it's necessary to take time out for regrouping and introspection. This is a temporary experience, but one necessary for my growth. When I step back, retreat, regroup, and renew, I have a clear perspective on everything in my life. Right, so all about rebirth as well. We've just had sort of like the Easter, and after Easter, you know, it's the rebirth, it's the rising up again, and you know, the change of seasons and growth and change. And you know, that's the, again, you know, like that's the most important thing in these connections, is to know that it's all about your own soul growth. And your twin is the reflection to allow you to partake on that journey. And they're the ones that effectively give you a key to open that journey for yourself. They sort of open the door and then they go, which is kind of brutal, because you have this amazing time. It's opening the door to what you can see was this incredible energy, and then it goes. And then you're seeking the answers to what that was. But that's the purpose of the connection. That's the purpose, because it allows you to seek more, because it triggers all of your soul senses. You wake up and you're like, what was that? I need to find out about that. I need to experience that in my life more and more and more. And so that's why. So the Six of Fire is stepping into the limelight, being an enlightened influencer. I generously model my transformation so that others might be inspired. I put my light atop of a hill so it can shine forth, helping others to find their way. I remain aware of shadows and people who have trouble basking in the warm light of higher awareness. I bless them, but do not dim my own beacon. It's a time to renew my trust that I am contributing to the highest good of all in my own unique way. So just like I was saying, right, you get triggered, and then it's like about shining your light, anchoring in your light, learning. Basically, it's just like a whole journey of learning, and there isn't really a time. It's like an energetic frequency. Like I say, that the divine plan will need your brick, you and your twin creating this foundation, solid foundation to put around the world. And when yours is needed, it will come together. And that's what they're showing me at the moment. And that's just another white feather just floating right down in front. So brilliant. Okay, so that was on page 54. And 54 comes up a lot. So 54 is our soul is beating the drum of universal love. So our soul is beating the drum of universal love. Our soul is beating the drum of universal love. Repeat, repeat, repeat. That is from my Divine Love Mantra books. an amazing way to, tap into your frequency, raise, like turning up the volume and increasing the power of your connection. So I'm going to read letter 154 because that's the one that wants to come through. So, okay. So there's so many things that I'd like to say, but you'd be writing all day. I want you to know that every little thing you do sends me crazy. It's like I'm obsessed with you. I feel this real urge to play with your hair, to wrap you in a towel after having a bath together, and just looking after you, taking care of you, cherishing you, and loving you so tenderly. I want to do everything I can for you. I want you to know that I think about you, about us, about our future, and how we can be together all the time. You are always on my mind and permanently in my heart. Feel me, hold me, love me. I'm yours. Okay, so yesterday, I'm wondering what. So when I go walking, I go past a certain tree, and there's a tree that I meditate against, and there's another tree that's right opposite it that has a branch at the top. And I always see my twin and three little ones sat up in the tree with him. And yesterday, when obviously this isn't my physical twin. This is I'm seeing him in through my third eye. Anyway, so yesterday, they started throwing tomatoes at me. And I was like, why are you throwing them down at me? Because I always go and meditate by this particular tree, and I look up and I can see them. And I hadn't been to the tree for a few days because really. And they were basically, it's bizarre, isn't it? But anyone who experiences these things knows that it's it's still bizarre. But anyway, I'm like, why are you throwing tomatoes at me? And they were like, because you haven't been here for a few days, and we need you to come here. We need you to work with this tree. So I was like, okay, because it's just bizarre. So when I go, and I'm against the tree, I basically work with the tree, and I say, allow me to ground in all these connections for all twin flames. And I imagine the tree taking away all the energy that we no longer need, all the doubts and all the fears and everything else. And then I work with the tree and sort of ground that energy, and then ground the golden energy and the energy that we need to help us come into our connection. And I thank the wisdom of the trees, and I thank the tree for helping us ground in, bring these connections from spirit into physical. So it's quite funny because as I'm walking away as well, I just can sense, it's a bizarre thing, isn't it? Because I just sense getting pelted by tomatoes, and I was like, all right, I'll come back. They're like, make sure you come every day. And I was like, okay. So it reminded me a bit of like when I first started seeing my twin like that, because I hadn't ever experienced that with anything. I hadn't seen spirit before. So it was quite a shock when I saw him or sensed him next to me for the first time. In fact, it was in a miracle. It's in Gozo, where I went to, so I was sort of guided to go, after I did my Reiki Master, I was guided to go to Gozo, which is a little island off Malta, and my guidance was telling me to go to this particular place called Tarpinu to do, which is known as the Miracle Church, because it was said that, there's been a sighting of the Virgin Mary there at some point. And that's why it's known as the Miracle Church. So it's a very sort of like special place in Gozo. But my guidance is just saying, just go there 3 times a day, or, between 1 and 3 times a day, and go and do Reiki. And then just as I was, after 3 months, I was about to leave to come back to the UK. And I went, and I remember, because I was sat in a pew, and suddenly I felt my twin's hand on my leg, and I felt his energy, and I looked next to me and I could see him, and I was a bit freaked out, I'm not going to lie, because I was like, but you're not dead, you're alive. why, and I could tell that I wasn't seeing him physically. I could tell that it was like in my third eye. Anyway, and that was the first experience of being able to see my twin in spirit. And then from then on, you know, just like actually in the reading yesterday, it said about the 8 of Wands energy coming in super strong. And that's what I mean by the energy. It comes in super strong, and it hasn't really been that I haven't felt like that recently, apart from it reminded me, because yesterday felt very strong like that. It felt like the first time that his energy would appear around me and be very kind of like, let's say, dominant, like make his presence very well known that he was there. So yesterday when he was pelting me with tomatoes and he was making his energy very, 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 very strongly aware. So anyway, who knows what's going to happen about the tomatoes, but I'm sure that there'll be a sign about the tomatoes coming. So yeah, so this is the book 2. So that you are everything to me. You are the reason that I came here. You are the reason that we were brought here to find love, to find true love, and to help each other remember who we truly are and where we came from. And that is simple. We came from each other. You make me and I make you. There is no end and no beginning. When we come together to experience our beautiful soul connection in our physical bodies, there is nothing but oneness, nothing but wholeness, nothing but a feeling of completeness, that we belong. We belong to the light. We belong to the love. We are love. We are pure divine light. We feel this in us. Okay, that's why they feel different, right? That's why there's just something that propels you forward, right? So really simple. Last one. 3 little words that don't even touch the sides of what you really mean to me. But I love you. I love you is the simplest way of expressing how I feel. It's a complex conundrum of feelings I'm having. I know I need to change my life. I know I won't be happy until I'm with you, living our life together. I walk the streets dreaming what our life will be like together, what we could do together. I so want for our freedom to come home. That message again about saying, I want to be free. I want to be free to come home. I want to be free to do what I want to do. That song. I want to be free to do what I want to do. God, it's gone out of my head. But you know that song. I think it's a Fatboy Slim track. And yeah, that's what we want, right? Freedom. So let's do Work Your Light. 1 from the Work Your Light, just to say, okay, what do we need to help us to help ground these connections of the spirit into the physical, to trust that, you know, spirit is helping us to bring in these connections because they're here for a purpose. You found out your connection for a purpose. You found out your connection for your healing. Play! Warrior woman! You are a warrior woman, right? You're a warrior. Come here to warrior for the light. So don't forget to play. Play with your connection. Ask them to show up to you. You know, like I said, you know, the more that you strengthen that connection with your twin in the spirit, then, you know, you can get playful. Just like I was sharing that, you know, my twin was lobbing tomatoes at me. Very bizarre. It's very bizarre. But, you know, he made his point, right? He got his point, because I actually hadn't been there for a few days. So I now know, yes, I do have to go there every day and make sure that I, you know, work with that particular tree, ground in the energies, you know, and remember that it is, you know, we are all here to ground in that light. And so, you know, whatever your guidance is asking you to do, then do it, because the energy is needed. So, but don't forget to play. All right, well, there you go. That's the message for today. I hope that helps. If you would like to have a healing, a reading, a channeling, or to get any of my books, they're all available on Amazon, and I'd be really happy to help. But in the meantime, I hope you stay well, stay bright, and stay switched on to the light. See ya. Bye.